Yeah, today I have Anurag Tiwari here for my show on community builders. And in this show, I want to share with you more about what community builders do to excel, do great stuff, impact communities, and just give you more insights. So you also can do that maybe for your own work, or if you haven't started doing anything, maybe to inspire you to start something. And maybe let me introduce first Anurag here, who is a good friend of mine. Anurag Tiwari is the founder and president of the youth wing of Global FIghters, an NGO that tries to help children and women in, let's say, underprivileged situations. And I think he can maybe explain us more about it. First, but thank you for coming, Anurag.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be hired. Thank you so much.
No, I've been looking up to you a lot. I saw you at college and I was like, wow, that guy, he is doing a lot of stuff. Is a college student, working for an NGO, doing all these things, and I'm just impressed. And I'm like, I think I need to do more with my life. But yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about your NGO, what it does.
So, hi guys, my name is Anurag. I'm a graduate from University of Delhi and pursuing a Master's in International Business from Jagannath International Management School, Calcutta. This journey of starting an NGO came back I think around 7 years ago, when I came across a Facebook post showing some kind of social activities being conducted in a college. So I've been very curious. I just stepped forward and contacted the lady on the very basis I'm a guy from Lucknow, I want to work with you guys. So ever since those 7 years, I've been associated to this cause that work for underprivileged enhancement programs, women empowerment, and it also works for sanitation and women development programs. Yeah.
You just said you reached out to the president of this organization 7 years ago, or how did that happen? You just felt I want to do something, or because I'm curious now that it sounds like you were the one who took the initiative to talk to them.
I was very keen and curious right from the very beginning of my childhood that I want to serve people with anything. Be in class 6 or 7, I used to give some chocolates to the nearby children, or anything to people that make them happy. So when I saw this post on Facebook, that created a sense of responsibility, and I thought, let's try doing something for the society. And that fomented me to call that lady, and we started this way.
So basically it was this seed, you could say, already in you, and you were trying to looking for something, and then through social media you saw this.
Very true. And there was already been inside, but I was looking for an opportunity to grab it and that platform. So Global FIghters Foundation provided me that platform to work with them.
Interesting. So basically through social media or the internet, you learned about them. Would you say social media is becoming nowadays more important for this kind of NGO work, for doing social causes?
I think yes, because social media is something that has really made it possible for people to reach out at places. It's me, I'm working as a marketing person and a media person on Global FIghters Foundation, along with being as a major part of it. So I think these tools has enabled many of us to reach out to the extreme corners of the world to convey people that there is something like this that requires a help. So these medias have been very beneficial, and they have been helping us out throughout the process.
It's interesting. You said some of your tasks include marketing and online. What are your main tasks at the NGO when you try to help children or women? You're mostly focused on marketing, or what is your task or your partner's work?
Basically, I am serving as a president, so I have to look after the youth section, from 15 to 30 years of age, the people who are associated with the same cause. Along with that, I'm into the media section. I promote the Global FIghters organization on various platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, anything that could reach out to people. And along with that, we have a marketing group where we market the handicraft products of the rural artists and women, so as to get the money back to them and promote their cultural diversification.
You said promoting the handcraft. So one of the things you're doing to help people in these situations is helping them building their own business, basically?
Yes, kind of, yeah.
So these women usually are already trained in a certain trade, or you teach them that trade? How can I imagine that? Let's say where is a woman in a village and she is in this bad situation. So how would this process work?
There's a project called Cocoon. There's a specific project called Cocoon, under which we are into enhancing and uplifting these women, artists and women, rural artists and women. They have skills, they have idea, but they don't have a knowledge to explore their potential. What we do is we get back to them with the basic raw materials to create some handicraft bags and handbags, runners, coffee coasters and all that. So we give them the raw material, we get the things done from them. We sell those materials in the market, on behalf of them, because they're not that educated enough to get back to the market and grab that market share. So we work on the behalf of them to get the money back to them after getting the money of raw material.
And these raw materials, where do you get them to a good market price? Do you have somebody who's giving them to you, or you just pay for them with like funds you have?
We get those raw materials from the funds that we get at CSR, because we provide CSR exemption certificate.
Can you tell them CSR who that is for people who?
CSR, corporate social responsibility.
Okay. I thought you meant it sounded more like an organization. Okay.
Yeah. So we get the things from the money that we get into the corporate social responsibility fund. We provide the fund and all these kind of raw materials to the women. We ask them to create something of their choice, some innovations and creativity that help us to inculcate the sense of responsibility, creativity and innovation in the women, along with making them self-sufficient. And we sell these things in the market and get the money back to them.
And then the selling process, because you get these kind of things from a woman, which have some creative ideas and we work on creating something, and then you have this finished product. How do you sell that then? Because it might be not a kind of traditional product or something that people already know.
So we usually get into exhibitions, we get into stalls that happen to go around the corner and places at festivals. We have volunteers who does this for us. We have internship program under which you can we hire interns to promote our stuff and market our products in the market. So the volunteers and the exhibitions are one of the major sources to market these products.
Okay, that's interesting. And with these exhibitions and markets, people come and they see they want to help a bit. Okay, that's great to hear. Then maybe talking about how do you fund these things? When you talked, one thing is like the CSR, this corporate social responsibility of companies. How do you get companies to provide these kind of raw materials or other funds? Basically, how do you get sponsors?
Okay.
People to help.
So actually we provide a tax exemption certificate in the ATC of Indian system, under which a company whosoever provides us some raw material gets some benefit on tax.
We
have a network of people. We have a network of people who are into tax benefit, program. They want some tax benefit, and we want some corporate aid. So we usually work together to come to a consensus that we'll provide you this and we need some CSR of that, because it is made mandatory for Indian company and for every Indian company to invest some part of the other into CSR activities. So we have a good network of people across who are willing, some family friends, some relatives, some good known and people around.
It sounds as this works a lot on kind of personal relationships.
Yeah, obviously.
That you have this network.
Yeah, obviously.
How long does this organization already exist that you have such intensive networks?
It's more than 8 years we're working. It started in 2012.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been 8 years or more.
8 years of work to build up the relationships to make it going. Then taking maybe from the other side, now you talked about how to get funds and sponsors, but how do you get volunteers, people to help you? How many people are you right now doing active work, and maybe people who do kind of supporting roles, at these fairs? I imagine they don't work all day every week for you guys. How many volunteers do you have? How do you acquire new ones?
Okay, so we have around 8 people in the organization. There's a team of 8 people from different fraternities. Somebody's from hotel management, somebody's from the software line, somebody's into education, and I'm a student. So we are 8 in a core team. Along with that, when we spread this word on the social media about the participation, there were people who replied to us we want to work for you guys. We want to work for you guys. Because this is something that has been a source to acquire people who really want to work. We give them some projects and in return on some certifications and some internship evidence.
And when you find these people, basically you try to incentivize them through certificates, you say. So basically you give them these kind of certificate to keep them on board, if I get this right.
The certificate is done in order to appreciate and motivate the children. It's not that if I'm getting something done on behalf of them, they need to be appreciated, and then incentive comes out from that source as well. So it's like we need to appreciate the good things that they've done, and we just provide them future scope to get associated with us again.
But that's what I mean, like, because the difficulty with many community builders or many organizations who want to do something good is getting people and incentivizing them. I notice with many organizations, when we reach out to people or we talk to them, even let's say we have an event organizing, we're a bit like, I'm not sure if I should do that, it's right for me, and people get excuses. But if I see like this kind of glimpse of the chance of something bigger or something that works, when we become more interested, and that's what I mean, like even if people want to do something good, how do you convince them to come to your organization? You know, we could go to maybe a bigger organization or somewhere else.
Okay, the thing I would like to add here, that Indian system, the Indian job system and recruitment system, we give a lot of emphasis on CSRs, corporate social responsibility. If you are into this fraternity of work, you'll be given some kind of advantage on doing some recruitment, your job profile, your promotions. So this is something that has always stimulated people to work for CSR, and that kind of, this kind of approach is always beneficial. So people really look for opportunities that can add to their resume, their CVs, their career. So Global FIghters Foundation has always been a source wherein people show their interest because we are a government registered NGO and we are very transparent in every doings. So yeah, we get people on this account because they want to add and get into this corporate world with some benefit. Because if somebody is there who's got into CSR, has an edge over others in India or places.
Interesting. Like I didn't know that much about that, but it could maybe also be interesting for other regions, other places.
Yeah.
Let's say in Europe, that also people start to take more bigger look at that, like with sustainability becoming more important and social responsibility. And maybe not just in India, but in many other places as well. People start thinking, hey, I can do something, and through that, organizations can gain these volunteers.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about the operations you're doing, helping with the craft, on the women's side. Can you tell me more about the work you do with children? Because you told me a lot about this kind of the school you're running, helping children with like lesser education. How does that work?
So we basically put up in Palwan, which is a village which is mostly a male-dominated area. Male-dominated as in they don't provide education to girls.
Oh, we don't do.
So we have, we thought of bringing a change in the society and system. We went to the place, we did some brainwashing and all that. So we made people aware that how important it is to educate a girl. We really made it possible for a girl to step out of the house and learn things, because it's a girl who's gonna be the next leader of the world. So in a place, it was very hard for us to change the mentality, but we're still trying to change the mentality of people that girls' education is not important. We in the village, we provide education to the girl children as well as the boy children. We have adopted a few children in the school, the fees of which is paid by the organization. So we work on development programs for children. We provide them basic drawing classes, educational classes, seminars, workshops, wherein they can understand what the world is going around with. We provide them some kind of training, some physical vocational training to them, so that they can equally be proficient in skill making rather than just education and re-education.
Is the school considered official by the Indian government? Up to which level?
School is run by a trust, Baki Bihari Trust, and that is registered under the Haryana government, Haryana board. So we have from nursery to 12th, we have the crowd of 250 children. So it's all legal and all formalized.
Can we finish normally with school and then go on maybe to study or do something else, something like that, or vocational training. When talking about, you already ran the children out of school. Now you're helping them get them education and even providing them with funds. But how do you get the children to come to the school? Like you said, many people don't want to give like women, like girls, this kind of education. How do you convince the parents that here, we're gonna give your child an education? Because I can imagine maybe you think like, no, even if you offer it to them, no, not needed. She will marry somebody and it's fine.
So this is the biggest challenge in the Indian society, not only Haryana, but in the entire Indian system, wherein they don't promote girl education. We personally go to the houses of people, we let them know how important it is to educate a girl. The only thing that we have been telling to the parents is that if you don't send your child to school today, So tomorrow she'll be useless. She has nothing to do in her life. If something goes around, she needs to know her rights, opportunities, her duties, and obligations. There is a village where we work, and the people, they call their children to cut the farms. And the only thing that we tell them is that if you call your boy to help you in farming, tomorrow also he'll be farming. He won't be anywhere else in the world. So it starts from today to send your child to school so that he can learn something, he can be something of his own, he can create more farms like this.
You show him like a bigger picture, like a dream, like if your child gets education, it won't be in the place where you are, but it can live a richer life.
Yeah, so this is something that's very motivating on their part to understand that yes, if we are living in a poor society, that doesn't mean that our children are going to be the same. They really expect more, and this picture really helps us.
That's good to hear. And like, how would you, like, after doing this, you get the children into the school, like education, or with women who do their craft. How do you measure the success of what you do? Basically, your impact, because that has been a question that people talk with me sometimes as community builders, like, if you can find me a way for me to measure my impact as a community builder, here's my money. No, because like it's not about getting money, but just the fact that it seems very important to many community builders how to measure even what we're doing. Is it worth it?
So you've asked this question. I would really like to quote a girl whose name is Varsha, who topped Haryana board with 92% in the same school. She got 92%. Being from a girl who's been educated in a rural, small village school, she managed to get 92%.
What is the average in the state usually?
Average lesson, like 80%.
80%. So 92 is already quite high, huh?
So this 92% was a benchmark for all the students in the school. So you can imagine, like, a girl can make out to 92% being in a rural school which has got no much facilities. There's nothing you can ask more for. So yeah, this is something we educate them, we get the magnitude of performance that coming out from them. So this she topped the board. Just imagine being a girl from a village, not exposed to much versatility. If she can get this percentage, that was success to us. That
everybody can get.
Yeah, perfect. This is something that we.
And for the women who are doing like this craft where you're helping them, I guess you measure it with like kind of sales or how much money they earn. So if I take from these two numbers, so basically how you would measure your impact is you try to look at something that's important to them and find basically statistics, numbers, if you can something attached to that.
What kind of statistics I just want?
Like a value, if I get this basically right. You try to find a value you can measure and you say, oh, she has this 92% and this is something you can measure, right?
I think the women that we help in the rural areas, artisan women, they have got more confidence. I'll talk about more qualitative things right here rather than quantitative. So she has got more confidence, she has got more dignity. So there are many things that have helped them out coming out from a very conservative family to express themselves, to get a platform, to be themselves. So this is something that has been a major part of the entire thing. So we believe in making people confident, self-sufficient, and not dependent. So yes, we are working on this mission, and we are anyway getting along with this.
Okay, I see. Like Gary's qualitative things, you probably see a lot about the attitude, the change.
Yeah, the attitude change.
Then coming from this attitude change to the topic of what has been struggling, doing this work. You have been doing this for some time, but you probably faced some challenges. So maybe even today things are still difficult. Which are these?
There's not one challenge, there are many challenges that we come across daily. Finance and funds are the biggest challenge because to create a trust in people that we are doing something meaningful in a society like India is next to impossible. You need to strive for it for a longer time. People don't trust us because there are many NGOs that are operating in India are into scams and all things. But when you do something good for the society, you stand in the same queue of people. You stand in the same question box of questions that maybe they are doing something illegal, unfair, and all that. So creating a trust to get the funds is the biggest issue because everything runs on fund. It's not your good behavior that would lead you to get money. But this creating a trust is an issue. Then we have finding people of the same mindset is another issue because another challenge I would say because we are just going around, we're a growing NGO. We have things that is spreading around. We need people of the same kind who can help us out with the mission. So finding people of the same nature who have the same mindset and mentality is yet another challenge, and the funds are obviously a challenge. Still.
You talk very interestingly when you talk about trust. We talked before about social media shortly. Do you think that social media nowadays help you more with creating that trust? Or is it like not really making much a difference?
No, it is. It is. There's no doubt of the fact that social media has done a lot to, in making the trust and creating a sense of responsibility, because when I do the media things, I get responses. I get ample responses like we want to work, I just want to be part of an NGO. So these regular and continuous efforts really make it clear that people are really doing something, and there is no bifurcation, there is no duplication. Everything is very transparent. If you want to do, it's your end, it's your call. And if you don't want to, that's obviously a call, of course, again.
Except for social media, other things you think that would help you more with these challenges? We talked about like acquiring funds and acquiring or incentivizing volunteers.
Yeah.
What else do you think might help more in the future with these struggles, or you're still looking for some more answers on that?
I think to have the sense of that charge, to be consistent in the same thing is a challenge. If, for example, I'm very consistent and if for a while I go out of track to do the things, this is going to spoil everything. So we need to have the same sense of commitment, determination, and same sense of responsibility for the society throughout the journey in life. Because it's not that a day or two process. You need to feel it. And the challenge is that there are people who come across already like we want to do charity, and the very next time they get financial problems, and they don't do it. So this is a challenge, I would say.
Like changing the mindset,
getting a quick flip,
getting them more empathetic, more kind.
Yeah.
All these things. Okay, but when talking interesting, like you have this mindset. You have it very deep in your heart. I see it every time you post something, you do something. I can clearly feel the energy with you. But where does this come from? Like maybe looking in the past, have you been as a child in some way affected with that? Like, I guess you're not from the poorest background. No, I guess your life has been probably more privileged than I guess many Indians. So where did that happen for you? That you said, I want to make something. Have your parents influenced you in any way, or what was in your childhood triggered you?
My family has and still is very supporting. They're okay with everything what I do. And the thing that stimulated me to be a part of this social work, I would say, was I believe in karma. I am a very spiritual person. I think that my dad always tells me one thing, that if I'm fortunate enough in the world, not everyone is that fortunate enough to be born in a silver spoon. If you have something, share, donate, help others, bring happiness to someone, because there's someone who's looking after you and looking after it. So being a spiritual person, being a very grounded person, I think it's always nice to help someone who's in dig. Taking out from them from dig is something, giving them a sense of right or light or ray of sunshine, because everyone on the earth has a right to live a peaceful life. Maybe they don't have that privilege to. So we as a person who have this privilege should share it, should let others be the source of inspiration, be an inspiration so that people can come across and they enjoy the same thing as you.
So your spiritual kind of feelings, these kind of beliefs.
I always believe one thing, that what you do comes back to you, be it good or bad. If you can make someone happy, there's nothing more than that. You can make someone go with some kind of memories. The wishes, the blessings that come across are, there's no match.
It's interesting. Like, interesting in many people who do a lot of like very successful work or community work might be sometimes more religious or have these kind of beliefs.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like a strong connection between that? I guess also, right?
Yeah, I think when you talk about karma, when you talk about spirituality, you always believe that positivity is something that drives things right. And if you see someone in pain, that's negativity. I just want to remove that, try to remove that negativity from their life. I know I'm not the only one who can do things goes right. But if you can bring some change, some positivity, some vibes that can create some happiness and let them smile, that creates an aura of love and affection. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely share that feeling. Like if you can, even if you're one person, like you affect a couple of people, let's say you affect 10 people.
Yeah.
Like you share your vibe and your mindset. And these 10 people in turn affect also each, maybe like 5 people, let's say less, but or like even more. And then it spreads and spreads and spreads, and it goes on like a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
To this degree. And maybe also, like you have been a community builder for a couple of years already now. You have some experience. What would be your biggest suggestions to other community builders to create more impact, to help others, or let's say we're new, we haven't done anything yet. Now, how would they start out even? What would be your suggestions? On being a better community builder or like even becoming a community builder in the first place?
I think the one who are inspiring to be a community builder needs to know that it's just not page 3 work or something to be, as a kind of show off thing. It comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
And the one who are still into this process needs to realize that it's really important to strive for the best and be consistent. It's not a day or two thing that, if I want to do charity today, I did a charity today, and tomorrow if I don't wish like I don't do it. There's nothing like that. You have to make sure that the things you're doing is uniform, continuous, and it contributes to society. Being into this line for the past 7 years, the only thing that has come across my mind and people is that it's very hard to find people of the same sort. You don't get them, right?
It's difficult to
It's
find
difficult.
them.
But still, you don't leave that opportunity, that hope that one day somebody would come and we will stay together. I've been, doing it for past 7 years, and it was quite hard for me to come to Delhi because I'm outstation. So come to Delhi, everything was very new for me, and there were people who told that, I will help you out, but at the time when I really required them, they backed up.
Yeah.
So I really want to say that if you're starting something, make sure that you do it, or else there's nothing. It's not mandatory for everyone to be a community builder. It's just from within that.
It's a long-term game also, right?
Yeah,
like
it's a long-term thing.
To keep like this kind of spirit and just.
It multiplies always.
Yeah. Just be patient and do that. And maybe as a fun last question,
Okay.
If you would have a superpower, which would it be?
Okay. I'll tell you the most desired power that I always wish for is like nobody should sleep, empty stomach. Nobody in the world. Nobody in the world should say,
You would be like the one putting like food in stomachs.
not exactly food, but yeah, nobody in the world should sleep empty stomach. At least something right in the food because, the pain of not eating a day and the parents and the grief is very, so I've seen people on roads and they're like lying on the road and here and there. That really, that's heartbreaking. It's not right.
That would be a
The only power I would have to have is like everyone should eat and be happy. That's it. And things will get right one day, which I've been hoping for past 7 years. Things will very right with me. So yeah.
No, I think you will continue to do a great job on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot for taking the time today and talking to me about these things and sharing all your insights. I think very interesting. If you want to learn more about him, you can contact him. I will share the information also in the post. Anurag Tiwari, Global FIghters. Like, you're doing a great job. So if you're in India, you can directly maybe even help them as a volunteer or support them anyway. And even if you're not, if you're in other countries, you can also maybe learn from them and exchange with them. What you could also do maybe locally if you face similar problems. And yeah, also I'm happy that you guys watched this video or listened as a podcast. And also let me know what you want to learn more about in the future. What were your thoughts about this? And yeah, I'm looking forward to talk to you guys. Have a wonderful day and keep empowering your communities and do some awesome work. Some last words from you?
So I think that's a pleasure talking to him. This interview was something I really needed because I want to make the world know that we exist and we're doing something not very great, but something very small. And I want you guys to be a part of this. Anyone who wishes to contact us can get to me. My numbers will be there and I'll be giving my entire information. So looking forward to you guys to be a part of this Global FIghters.
Awesome. Thank you.